In the ancient village of Yumuka, where the drums spoke before dawn and the elders said the forest remembered every name, lived a young woman called Aura. They often whispered that her star was bright, yet her path was always blocked. No matter how hard Aura worked, misfortune followed her like a stubborn shadow. Crops withered beneath her hands. Trade deals collapsed just as they were about to be sealed. Suitors would arrive hopeful, only to leave suddenly afraid, as if something unseen stood just behind her, listening. Some said Aura was born with a destiny too heavy for her body to carry. Others believed something had already laid a claim on her before she ever took her first breath. One evening, on the lonely road between the market and the forest shrine, the rain began to fall. It wasn't a normal rain. It was thick, violent, and cold, as if the sky itself was trying to wash away a sin it could no longer bear. Thunder split the heavens, and Aura ran, clutching her basket, desperately searching for shelter. That's when she saw it, a mud hut, standing near the riverbank, crooked and looking as if it were breathing. Its roof sagged like an old spine. Aura froze. She knew this path. She had walked it since she was a child. The hut had never been there before. That should have been her sign to run. At the doorway sat an old woman wrapped in faded cloth. Her skin was cracked like dried earth, her bare feet pressed into the mud, yet no mud clung to them. Her eyes glowed like dim embers that had watched generations come and go. Aura wasn't scared, nor was she shocked by the woman's mystic aura. People like her were not common in her town, but they were known. They were a connection to the world beyond, and they rarely involved themselves with people. The rain is not your enemy, the woman said without looking up. But the road ahead is. Aura was shocked the woman even spoke to her. The hut was warm, almost too warm. The fire inside burned without any smoke, and shadows bent the wrong way on the walls. Yet, the storm outside howled like a hunting beast. Aura stepped inside. The old woman fed her food that tasted of salt and iron and gave her dry clothes that felt strangely damp even by the fire. In gratitude, Aura cleaned the hut, sweeping dirt that returned the moment her back was turned, and fetching water from a pot that never seemed to empty. Time stretched on, and the rain refused to stop. When Aura finally rose to leave, the woman stopped her. From beneath her cloth, she produced a string of beads, dark, polished, and warm to the touch. They pulsed faintly, like something alive trying to remember its own heartbeat. "Take it," the woman said. Aura refused. "You have already saved my life." The old woman's fingers tightened around her wrist, her grip impossibly strong. "Wear it every day," she commanded, "and never, no matter what, take it off." Aura swallowed hard. "Why?" The woman leaned close, and Aura smelled river rot and something ancient. "If you value your life, your peace, and your future, do not ask questions. Just obey." Then she whispered a proverb as sharp as a blade. "He who opens a closed calabash invites what his eyes cannot bear." Instantly, the rain stopped. When Aura stepped outside, the hut was already gone. From the day Aura wore the beads, her life rose unnaturally fast. Her crops grew overnight. Money multiplied in her hands. The elders praised her sudden wisdom. Suitors came bearing goats, gold, and palm wine, saying the gods had finally remembered her. But the nights became a torment. The beads would tighten around her neck. Aura dreamed of rivers flowing upward, of hands clawing from beneath the earth, and of the old woman standing at the foot of her mat, floating, staring at her, her voice a constant whisper in her mind. "Do not remove it. Do not remove it." Aura began to have sleepless nights, and odd things started happening around her. Sometimes she would speak, and villagers would swear. Her voice layered into many voices at once. The wealth came, but Aura was no longer alone inside her own body. One night, in a dream, she found a strange new pride. Trembling with both fear and defiance, she spat, "It is only beads." Then she removed it. The fire in her room died without a breath of wind. Her mirror split, revealing a face beneath her own, older, smiling, hungry. Outside, the trees bent and wailed. By morning, everything was gone. Her barns were empty. Her wealth had turned to ash. A sickness settled into her bones, reshaping her strength. When she screamed, her voice echoed twice, once hers, and once something much, much deeper. She woke up with a start and ran to the forest, back to where she'd seen the hut. It was gone. In its place stood an ancient tree, its roots dug deep into the earth. It looked like a normal tree, but deep within her, she knew it wasn't. The air smelled of that same ancient scent she remembered from the old woman. The leaves whispered to her, "A gift from the spirits is not a favor. It is a claim." The wind roared. "What is taken from the ancestors must be returned in flesh." Aura felt something crawl inside her chest and settle there. Years passed. Aura believed she had escaped. The dreams stopped, all the strange occurrences ceased, and she started to put it all behind her. Then one night, while bathing by the river Mroka, she looked at the beads still around her neck. She didn't think much of it. She took them off and threw them into the water. The river turned black. Her reflection smiled back at her, but it wasn't her smile. A hand seized her ankle from below, and just like that, she was gone. By morning, her house stood empty. Only the beads remained, lying on the riverbank. Out of fear, no one dared to enter her house or claim any of her belongings. Days later, a different young lady, her face etched with worry from a life of misfortune, was walking along the forest's edge. An old woman stood there, smiling, holding out a string of dark, polished beads. When the spirits give a gift, she whispered, they always come to collect. Not every blessing is a gift from God. Not every old woman is human, and not everyone you help will repay you in the same way. Thanks for watching.